Right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Tonight, a local KFC worker shot because the restaurant was out of corn grabs the country's attention.
It's crazy. This is ludicrous.
Tonight, we hear from the worker's family. Plus, talk of the town. Robert Tracy named the new St. Louis police chief. But in his old job, the county council gave him a vote of no confidence. We talked to one of those council members.
But first tonight, the rain finally pushing out of St. Louis. But the chilly change in our weather pattern is just getting underway.
Another chilly, rainy night across St. Louis. The rain is starting to move out, but much colder temperatures are moving in. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred. That winter chill is ready to set in, and it looks like it will not be going anywhere, at least until the new year. Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here to outline these big changes, and things are at least clearing up because we couldn't see the top of the arch earlier tonight.
Exactly, and we are seeing improvement now as this rain is lifting out of the St. Louis area as it continues to move east. And with this last surge and the front coming through, we actually had some wind gusts. 30 to 40 miles per hour around St. Louis. Back edge of the rain pushing east of town right now. Let's go over a little farther to the east along the Interstate 57 corridor, Centralia, Salem. You're still getting some heavier rain, and it's still wet until you get over to about 55, 70 at the split there. You're looking at basically the back edge of the rain. It's almost out of St. Clair County. We'll be out of Madison County shortly. This is all part of this big system that has brought severe weather to the deep south and blizzard conditions to the plains. Now the colder air is sliding in from the west. Our temperatures have dropped back into the 30s just west of St. Louis. That trend is going to continue. So the rain's moving away right now, the colder air moving in. The weekend looks cold and dry, and there is even colder weather as we head towards the end of next week. The timing on that in just a bit, Ann.
We are learning more about a KFC employee shot by a customer in the drive-thru because the restaurant was out of corn. Tonight, the victim's brother is talking only to 5 on your side's Robert Townsend.
Stunned, because my brother get up to go to work every day.
Norman Thomas says for about 6 years, his brother, 25-year-old Dion Thomas, has enjoyed working at this KFC near Delmar and North Kings Highway in the Central West End. He says Dion started as a cook and then later excelled to assistant manager.
He loved it. That's why he worked his way up. He didn't want to go nowhere else. He wanted to work there.
Monday evening, the business suddenly became a crime scene. Employees told police a man became angry in the drive-thru when workers told him the restaurant was out of corn. Police say the man, around 40 or 50 years old, first threatened the employees through the speaker box. They say the customer then pulled up to the drive-thru window with a gun.
It's crazy. It's ludicrous.
The drive-thru danger spilled outside.
This is just all of a sudden.
Dion's coworkers told police when he went outside, the customer walked up, shot Thomas once in his side, then hopped in a car and drove off. A KFC employee tells 5 on your side their boss drove the wounded worker to a hospital.
It's really sad. I can't understand what's going on with these people today. For them to want to have an idea to shoot him for some corn. What? Really?
The KFC worker was shot 2 weeks before his 26th birthday. Thomas says his brother underwent surgery and is now recovering. Meantime, he hopes the man who shot Dion over some corn is soon off the streets.
They need to get him. Yeah, it's a blessing my little brother alive.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Today, the KFC's doors were locked. Only the drive-thru was open to customers.
Tonight, St. Louis has a new top cop. He's Robert Tracy, the current chief of police in Wilmington, Delaware. There's growing reaction tonight over the man who will lead the department here in St. Louis.
This includes the community he serves right now. Our Brent Solomon's live downtown with what he's learning about the new chief of police. Brent?
Well, I tell you what, the news that Robert Tracy will take over the department here is meeting some mixed reaction. There are some who are complaining that he's not the man for the job, while others are saying, give the man a chance.
Chief Tracy.
Get used to the face. Chief Robert Tracy will soon take the helm at SLPD.
Coming in with a clean slate.
Tracy comes from the Wilmington Police Department in Delaware, where he served as chief.
Let's prosecute these criminals. Let's keep them behind bars for a longer time.
We introduced you to Tommy Belt earlier this year after crooks broke into Mac's Bar and Grill. He wants to see if a new chief can bring change.
I think as long as he's given the tools that he says he wants to use and utilize, I think it's fine. But if we don't have the resources, or they're not allowing him to have the resources, then, you know, really he's just another person on a pedestal.
The person that was chosen just is not the right person.
Local activist Ohan Ashe is concerned Wilmington City Council gave the chief a vote of no confidence.
So it's very ironic that if another city says that they do not have confidence in this person, that we will then take them on, when the no confidence came from the lack of diversity, when this is a very diverse city.
It was done in such a disgusting manner. It was put on the agenda 4 hours before the meeting. So nobody knew about it except a few council members. So there was no time for any community input. It unfortunately passed, I think, just because a few key members of council weren't there that night.
Wilmington Councilman James Spadola tells me Chief Tracy put a dent in crime and leads from the front.
There was a very small group that was opposed to him, and they probably got the most press attention about it, but I think the vast majority of residents and civic association leaders, faith leaders were definitely in support of the chief.
Today I reached out to every single council member in Wilmington, Delaware. I heard back from two of them, the gentleman you just heard from and another council member who has nothing but great things to say about the new chief. You can read her comments on this story at KSDK.com. Live in downtown St. Louis tonight, Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
Tomorrow, a judge is expected to hand down a verdict in the murder trial of a man accused of killing a Metro East police officer. Closing arguments were delivered today in the trial of Caleb Campbell. Police say he hit and killed Brooklyn police officer Brian Pierce last year as Pierce was putting down spike strips on the McKinley Bridge. Pierce was trying to stop Campbell during a pursuit. This was a bench trial, meaning the judge, not a jury, will decide Campbell's fate.
The man who prosecuted Lamar Johnson for murder in 1995 took the stand today in the hearing to overturn his conviction. Johnson has stood firm that he had no part in Marcus Boyd's murder ever since he was convicted. Earlier this week, James Gregory Elking, the only witness to the shooting, testified a detective coerced him into naming Johnson. Former Assistant Circuit Attorney Dwight Warren said he wouldn't have taken the case without Elking's testimony.
Are you sure you have failed to identify somebody and now you're identifying? I want to know why. And he said, I was afraid. I want to know I'm not prosecuting somebody that doesn't deserve prosecution. And Elking was positive that the person he identified, I think he said he had a bad eye.
David Bruns, the public defender representing Johnson in the 90s, also testified this afternoon. The hearing continues tomorrow. We're streaming it live on the 5+ app. That's available on Roku and Amazon Fire Stick. Tonight, the Chesterfield City Council voted to move forward with a controversial plan. It's to redevelop the Chesterfield Mall area.
They unanimously approved more than $300 million in tax increment financing. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski was at tonight's meeting where there was more pushback on the plan. Laura?
Mike and Ann, several people spoke at the meeting before the vote, including an attorney for Dillard's in Chesterfield Mall, who says they plan to reopen their store, which they believe won't happen now.
The Steinberg Group and the city have included the Dillard parcel in the TIF area, which will allow the city to take Dillard's property by eminent domain.
Chesterfield Mayor Bob Nation says this is a recent objection and is surprising. However, it didn't influence the council vote or really spark any further discussion from them. The mayor says the TIF will pay for things like infrastructure around the redevelopment area, where they hope to create a downtown Chesterfield, which he says is not only important for Chesterfield, but St. Louis County as a whole.
So you're generating more property taxes, you're generating more sales taxes. These all support the taxing entities, from the school districts, the fire districts, the municipalities, and the libraries district, the zoo museum district.
The next step is to rezone the area for redevelopment, and after that, individual projects would make their way to the council for approval. The council isn't scheduled to meet again until January 3rd. Mike.
Laura, thanks. Tonight, a memorial service was held in Newtown, Connecticut to mark the 10th anniversary of the Sandy Hook school shooting. A memorial mass was held to remember the 20 first graders and 6 adults who were killed that day. This was also the first anniversary of a new permanent memorial which sits near the rebuilt elementary school. A live look now at the U.S. Capitol, where just a couple of hours ago, the U.S. Senate passed with unanimous consent a bill to ban TikTok from U.S. government devices. The bill sponsored by Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. This is a separate bill from the bipartisan bill calling to ban the popular social media app entirely in the U.S. The FBI director has called TikTok's operations a national security concern because of its connection to the Chinese government.
Tonight, Shrewsbury police say they've tracked down a Grinch they say stole Christmas decorations from yards in several communities. Last night, we showed you this surveillance video and photos from crimes in Kirkwood and Shrewsbury. Investigators say a 67-year-old man from Fredericktown was identified and then confessed. Tonight, he's being held on $1,000 cash-only bond. Tonight, Bethalto police are pleading with the thief who stole a figurine from the town's Christmas Village nativity scene. A lamb statue was taken and another one was broken. Police say the Bethalto Spirit Group is borrowing the expensive nativity set, and they're hoping someone returns it, no questions asked.
Growing contamination concerns along Coldwater Creek.
Would you send your children to Jena Elementary?
Yes, I would.
Some parents disagree. Tonight, government experts are talking only to the I-Team about why they think the school and other parts of North County are safe.
There it is. Oh my God.
A tornado touches down live on the air. Tonight, the damage left behind in New Orleans.
This massive weather system still producing severe weather in the south, blizzard conditions across the plains, and we're timing a bitter blast headed to the bi-state region.
Tonight, new concerns from many families in North County. They're telling our I-Team they're afraid they've been exposed to overly high levels of radiation compared to other areas of St. Louis.
In their first sit-down interview since concerns at Jana Elementary, those responsible for the cleanup are speaking tonight only to the I-Team's Paula Vasson.
Would you say that you were wrong about certain things?
Oh, of course. We're wrong about contamination being limited to the sediments in the creek bed.
For decades, the water that flows in North County's Coldwater Creek has carried something dangerous: radioactive contamination, the result of improper storage of nuclear waste during World War II. Cleanup and criticism fell on the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
We were just not aware that flooding mechanism was going to redistribute the contamination from the creek to the adjacent areas.
Given the fact that you've been wrong before, do you understand people's concerns?
Of course.
This is their first sit-down interview since a recent study commissioned by a law firm found high levels of radioactive waste at a North County elementary school, closing it down. Later testing by the U.S. Army Corps found no harmful radiation.
Would you send your children to Jena Elementary?
Yes, I would.
It's no consolation for parents like Dawn Chapman. She believes cleanup has been too slow.
Why, after decades, are we still fighting the same battle? And why are we allowing people to be exposed to the maximum risk when other communities get a much better, safer cleanup?
It's up to the Environmental Protection Agency and other government agencies to decide how much contamination will be cleaned up. Part of that is figuring out how many people could be at risk of getting cancer from that contamination. It's a sliding scale. The least amount of protection that can be legally chosen is about 1 person in 10,000. The most protection is around 1 in a million. North County got the lowest end of the scale.
Federal officials say they're limited by environmental factors. They say the range is within a level that protects human health. But Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush calls it unacceptable.
Well, we know that we're talking about environmental racism, that it needs to be cleaned up immediately.
Is there environmental racism going on?
Our decisions are specifically driven by where the highest possibility for human contact is.
Right now, that's parts of North County.
So the low-level contamination that we have been finding is predominantly low-level below the surface and is inside the creek in and of itself.
The U.S. Army Corps has said radioactive contamination in North County does not pose an immediate risk in its current configuration. Environmental experts have argued that's an impossible promise, especially with the evidence. A CDC report in 2019 estimated that long-term exposure to Coldwater Creek could have increased the risk of developing lung cancer, bone cancer, or leukemia.
The state recognizes this zip code right here as having an almost 300% increase in childhood brain cancer.
She's citing the latest research available from the state's health department. It shows 8 zip codes in North County. The majority of them along Coldwater Creek had statistically significantly higher rates of cancer. This parent says the risk impacts her family.
My daughter had a concussion a few weeks ago, and we went to the ER, and it's in her file that we live next to Westlake, and he said, because of where you live and the history that your family, we do not want to do any scans unless we absolutely have to, because it all accumulates and increases the risk.
Leading to a lifetime of worry.
Why has this been a problem for so long?
We've been in this area for the 25 years, and it's an extensive project. North County in and of itself is over 2,000 acres. We're here to see that process through, and it does take some time.
People in the area want more urgency. The Army Corps plans to clean up the contamination found in Coldwater Creek near Jen Elementary in the summer of next year. Now, school officials in the district are saying that's not enough. They want the Army Corps to test all of the district's buildings for radioactive waste. For the I-Team, Paula Vasan, 5 on your side.
Now we've got the power flashes. It is on the ground. Get to your safe place right now.
Tonight, a tornado touched down in the New Orleans area, and it happened live on the air as a TV meteorologist was warning viewers. At least one person is dead. Tens of thousands are without power. This was part of a large, deadly, and destructive storm system which caused widespread damage across the South.
Just listening to her talk gives you chills because we've all been there before here in the St. Louis area. And Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell, we're happy we just had rain today and yesterday.
And that's, rain is an okay thing, right? You put it into perspective, especially when you see what's been going on down there, all of the tornadoes. This has been 2 days of severe weather to the south. Now, we've had our rain. We actually had gusty winds when the front finally came through this evening. Now the colder air is coming in, but the rain is shifting east of St. Louis. It is going to move out over the course of the next couple of hours. You still have it along the Interstate 57 corridor right now, a little heavier. As we get back closer to St. Louis, there's your back edge, slicing just east of Troy. It'll be through Highland shortly. It'll be over towards, let's say, Lebanon, Illinois, the back edge, in about 10-15 minutes or so. Now, the Metro East ended up with 1 to 2 inches easily out of this over the last couple of days. And back to the west, we had spots that were close to 2 inches. Most of us around the metro area over the course of the last couple of days have had an inch or a little more. Here is that massive storm system just spinning. I mean, this is a huge, expansive system stretching all the way from Canada down into the Gulf of Mexico. Still looking at those strong storms racing right now across the Florida Panhandle. There are still potentially some stronger storms in here that could cause some severe weather, but we've seen a noticeable drop in the number of warnings. That's a good thing. Now we're seeing a drop in the temperatures across much of Wisconsin. At the same time, we're dragging all this moisture to the north, so that means those folks up there are going to get some snow. Still 56 in Springfield, Illinois, or it was when that was taken. That was earlier today, about 6 hours ago, and now those temperatures are dropping. Wanted to show you this from earlier this evening. This is right at sunset around St. Louis because we were treated, at least from west of St. Louis and south of St. Louis, you were treated to some sunshine, but that's about all you got to see today because of the rain. And certainly if you were east of the river, you did not get a chance to see that. The rain's pushing away, getting out of our area. Skies will clear out overnight. Tomorrow morning, we'll have a bit of sunshine. Clouds roll back in, breezy conditions tomorrow. Temperatures stuck in the 30s most of the day. And with the breeze, it'll feel even colder. Friday, more of the same on the way. We'll have a little sunshine in the morning perhaps, but then the clouds win out during the day. It is cold and breezy. And look at your morning low temperatures heading into the week ahead. This is next week. So this is taking us right to Christmas Eve morning, when our morning low temperature should be around 12 degrees in St. Louis. Some of us may be into the single digits. That's the next wave of cold air that comes for the end of next week. Yes, we will be at or below average here for the next several days, and likely the coldest air we've seen since the beginning of February arrives along about Thursday into Friday.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Well, Mike, we have the president of the Cardinals on the future of Jordan Walker, and we're going back in time to one of the wildest winter meetings in Cardinals history. Stick around. So what is in the crystal ball of John Mozeliak between now and the trade deadline? Do they add a starting pitcher? Do they do it with a trade or free agent signing? Do they add a bat? What will that unsettled outfield end up looking like? Mo joins us on Sports Plus Sunday, and one of the hottest topics is one of their hottest young hitters, Jordan Walker. Today I asked John, would he be surprised if Jordan is the starting right fielder on opening day?
I think I'd be somewhat surprised, but I guess this is going to be for the record, so I'm going to say I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked. He's an amazing talent. He's having a great offseason from a physical standpoint. Reports coming in right now are extremely encouraging. I think it's really going to be the ability to adapt to the speed of the game.
And the World Cup finals are set for Sunday. Argentina got in yesterday. France and Morocco playing today. In the 5th minute, France converts off the loose ball in the box. Theo Hernandez gets the only goal they would need. They can go back to back with a win on Sunday. Today, final 2-0. Brian Turner and St. Mary's hosting MICDS in high school basketball. Good to hear that St. Mary's is sticking around. The game was back and forth. Watch Jaden Banks sneak into the lane and hit the runner in rush hour traffic. But St. Mary's right back at you. Khalil Boyd with the up and under. MICDS wins it 70-65. It's the anniversary week of one of the most topsy-turvy times in Cardinals history. Is that a great picture or what? General Manager Whitey Herzog turned his team upside down and gave Manager Herzog a head start on building a champion. With the help of producer Andy Mueller, we give you this remarkable story.
They could hit with anybody, but had trouble keeping the opposition off the scoreboard.
The 1980 Cardinals were a team that even Whitey Herzog could not fix. They led the National League in hitting, but were last in stolen bases, and their pitching staff was last in ERA and saves. It was even worse than that.
I was surprised, a lot of people. I mean, that winning didn't mean anything, and losing didn't mean anything. It was just the same either way. We all know what we need here. I mean, a guy asked me the other day, what do you need? I said, I need 3 kinds of pitching. Right-handed, left-handed, and relief. You know, what we're trying to do is make the best possible deal for the Cardinals if we're going to make a deal.
And so as Sports Illustrated captured, Whitey turned wheeler and dealer once he got to Dallas. Sunday night, he announced that he had signed free agent catcher Darryl Porter. The next day, he really got going, sending 7 players to San Diego. In return, he got future Hall of Famer Rollie Fingers, role player Gene Tennis, left-handed pitcher Bob Shirley, and a player to be named later. On Tuesday, he got the guy that had been rumored to be Whitey's prime target for months, Bruce Sutter. In return, Herzog sent third baseman Ken Reitz, first base prospect Leon Durham, and a minor league infielder. But problems came up. Incumbent catcher Ted Simmons decided he didn't want to move to first base to make room for Porter. And Fingers didn't like the idea of sharing the closer's role with Sutter. It took until the winter meetings were almost over, but Whitey saved his best for last. He sent Simmons and Fingers to Milwaukee, along with the Cardinals' best pitcher, Pete Vukovich. The deal almost didn't get made until Milwaukee agreed to trade their top prospect, outfielder David Green, along with pitcher Larry Sorensen, outfielder Sixto Lescano, and young pitcher Dave LaPointe. All in all, dealer Herzog sent away 12 players that week and got back 9. 3 eventual Hall of Famers changed teams. Porter and Herzog met the media that following Saturday.
We were really able to help our ball club because we came back with a lot of things we didn't have when we went down there. We came back with the extra starting pitcher. We came back with the best relief pitcher in baseball in Suter. I think overall our team speed is better. I think our defense is better.
And they won a world championship in 1982. That's why there will never be another Whitey Herzog.
It's great to see that old footage. All right, thanks, Frank. We'll be right back.
A record 158 million Americans are expected to shop this weekend on the last full shopping Saturday before Christmas. The National Retail Federation says that's about 10 million more than on Super Saturday last year. 28% plan to shop in stores, 27% online, 46% will do both.
Right now, Christmas carolers are standing by to take your call and sing you a holiday tune. Dial a Carol is a tradition at the University of Illinois dating back to 1960. Students have been manning the phones 24/7 for the last 7 days. They'll call it a season at midnight, so if you'd like to call, the number is 217-332-1882.
This poor guy, he has no friends with him. He needs some help.
There you have it, 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show's next.